last check, 48 mile per hour winds, 31 mile per hour sustained winds in Savannah. Sustained winds means it is consistent. I mean, it's 2-minute average. So that wind is going for 2 minutes at an average of 31 miles per hour. Within that, you get higher gusts. Probably see higher gusts of well over 40 miles per hour, tropical storm force. And we'll take a look at those wind gusts in a moment here. You see Blackshear and Alma also well over 20 miles per hour. So this is wind is affecting everybody, but you're going to see the higher gusts the further east and south you go across our area. All right, wind gusts here currently. We talked about 33 at Savannah Airport. Beaufort, wind gusts of 38 miles per hour. In Hilton Head, seeing a wind gust of 41 miles per hour. And in Metter, Vidalia out here a little bit further west, not as high a wind, but we still are going to continue to see winds very gusty out there as we head through the overnight. All right, we take a look at our tropical wind forecast here going through the night, and the highest chance for hurricane-force winds, at least in gusts, through midnight will be along the coast from McIntosh County, including Darien, right up through coastal areas of Liberty County, mostly east of I-95, and then heading east of Richmond Hill and Bryan County, especially between Keller and Kilkenny, and also heading up into the islands and Skidaway, and also talking about Tybee Island and Wilmington Island, and then heading up through Defusky. Beaufort County will be more after midnight when we get into the highest winds, and pretty concerning about Beaufort County because it sticks out a little further to the east, and it's going to be closer to the track of the center of the storm as it passes on by later tonight. So as we look at this, we see that just about the entire Beaufort County gets covered in that red from just after midnight until about 7 a.m. So we're looking at a long period of time that we're going to easily have sustained winds of tropical storm force, and possibly some sustained winds for a while to hurricane force, at least in gusts. And once we get to 7 a.m. closer to daybreak, well, we will start to see the winds starting to back off a little bit further south, still very strong and damaging possibly through Savannah with 60 mile per hour gusts, Springfield. But then as you go back a little further west, closer to Hinesville, you see we get back behind the tropical storm force winds, and then we will see improvement. That weather will improve quickly from west to east as we head through tomorrow. By noontime, most of the strong winds are out of the area. However, Beaufort County, we linger at the longest because you're going to be closer to the center of the storm. So 40 mile per hour winds still possible at noon across Beaufort County, especially the northern part of the county, but that will be blowing out quickly afternoon, and we'll continue to see gusty breezes as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. Much better weather tomorrow night. We look forward to that. That is for sure. Let's look again at the forecasted wind in general. Highest winds are going to be on the eastern side of our coastal counties and throughout Beaufort County. Again, I think the entire Beaufort County we have a good chance to see hurricane force gusts. Savannah, east of Savannah, out on the islands, that's where we have the best chance of seeing gusts to hurricane force, as well as heading along coastal, Bryan, Liberty, and McIntosh County from Darien on east. That's where our highest winds are going to be as we head through tonight. Now, not to be undone, we go a little further west, we're still going to have very strong winds for inland spots like Hampton, and heading through Estill, and heading through Springfield and Guyton, and Ridgeland and Hardyville, and down through Pooler, Bloomingdale, around through Pembroke, and also Ellabelle and Hinesville, and Little Whiskey and Jessup. You're all going to be seeing winds gusting over up to 50 miles per hour tonight. I think on average, maybe 60 miles per hour in some of the eastern spots. And then we go further west. We head to Sylvania, Statesboro, over here to Reidsville, Glenville, Baxley, Alma. Winds mostly gusting up to about 40 miles per hour, so we can handle that out there. Still could see some areas that lose power out here. More likely that happens a little bit further east as we go into the central and especially the eastern sections as we head through the overnight and into the beginning of tomorrow. So our Futurecast shows here our eye is coming up from the south. We continue to see these bands of heavy rain pushing on shore. There comes the eye moving to our east there as we head past midnight. Question is, will it turn in time so we can miss that eye wall in Beaufort County? That's going to be a close call. Even Tybee, we have to keep an eye on that. It could be very close to the eye wall potentially. What is the eye wall? That is the ring around the eye. The eye is the calm in the middle of the storm, but around the outer edge of that eye, that's where you get the highest winds in a hurricane. Well, that eye wall is going to be coming close to the left edge of the eye wall, comes close to Beaufort County as we head to about 3:30 in the morning, maybe even out towards the Tybee as well. So we'll be watching that very closely, and then we'll continue to see the very heavy rain and high winds, especially in Beaufort County as we head through 6 a.m. Past that, we are going to see drier air coming in, so we'll see a quick end of the rain as we get to daybreak and beyond, and things will be improving again, as I mentioned, quite a bit from southwest and northeast. So these are rain totals. They'll be updated, but overall, I still think 6 to 12 inches in general will be a pretty good bet for our total rainfall. A lot of places in the coastal counties will end up with about a foot of rain. I can see that easily around Savannah, heading out to the islands and much of Beaufort County, and back down along coastal areas of Bryan, Liberty, as well as McIntosh counties. We're going to be in this very persistent band of heavy, steady rain, and sometimes very, very heavy rain coming down for the rest of the night. All right, these are the streamlines of the storm surge. Now, we've had reports that the tide levels are running about 5 feet above normal at Fort Pulaski. What does that mean? Well, it means that when we get to high tide, we could expect maybe to add up towards about 5 feet. Now, we talked about the 1 to 3 feet here shown in blue, but this doesn't really take into account the rain that falls too. The rain that's falling, all this rain that's falling is also going to drain somewhere, and that's going to make the water level higher. So we could be looking at once we get to high tide, 1 to 2 in the morning, adding about 5 feet to the values of those high tides. We're looking at about 6.5 feet for your high tide out of Fort Pulaski. That could turn out to be about 11-foot tide. That's higher than your average supermoon tide by about.
Oh, absolutely, Kelly. Good evening to you. Good evening to everybody. We're just a little bit north of Pepper Park, State Park here. Now, I'll do it real quickly. Our beaches did not sustain any major erosion, no major erosion all the way from Treasure Coast all the way in through the Palm Beaches. But we did have some damage here in the Fort Pierce area. I'll zoom in here. This is around the Virginia Avenue area, and I'll show you where the Kmart, there's a Kmart here. Sorry for going there left and right, but look at the Kmart damage now. You've seen it in the Daytona piece, a lot of damage here, but in Fort Pierce along Virginia Avenue, this facade to the Kmart here, we had a little bit of conduit, a little bit of flooding in the other parking lot right over here, but that has subsided very much in the last couple of hours here. We're up here in the mid-morning hours, and again, Fort Pierce had some damage to some docks that they rebuilt up here in the town of Fort Pierce. And right here's the docks that have the outer barrier, little barrier wall protected. Just look at that. Look at all the boats, safe and sound, and no major damage here at Fort Pierce. That's how it looks up here at Chopper 5 of Johan Hoffman. Back to you.
Thank you, Johan. Matthew, clearing our area, but still a threat to our north.
That's right. Storm Team 5 meteorologist James Whelan has been tracking the storm ever since the beginning. James, I've had a lot of people come by tonight just along this street saying thank you for all that you all did for them, getting them through the storm last night.
Oh, well, thank you, and tell them you're quite welcome. That's our job here at News Channel 5 to do that. And this storm is out of our area. We are done with any threats from this storm. 110-mile-per-hour winds. It is starting to weaken some. That's a Category 2. It's moving to the north at 12. Making that right-hand turn here, but getting awfully close to Tybee Island and Savannah and Hilton Head here in South Carolina. This is overnight 105-mile-per-hour winds. By the time it gets to the Grand Strand, it's tomorrow afternoon, 90-mile-per-hour winds. And then, yes, it does make this hook out to sea, and a lot of people talking about, hey, is it coming back towards us? Well, it kind of is, and we're back in the cone right here, but it will be just a smidgen of its former self. Maybe just a tropical depression as it moves back towards us. So we're not really going to worry about another big impact from this. It will send more wave action our way and coastal beach erosion. Next week, however, no, we're not getting another hurricane, and you don't have to put up the shutters again.
Good to know. Thank you, James. Right now, crews working to restore power lost in Hurricane Matthew, and News Channel 5's Jason Hackett joins us now with an update on those efforts. Jason.
And Michael, as of last check, close to 100,000 people on the Treasure Coast are without power, many of them here in this Stuart neighborhood. You can see them standing outside now trying to beat the heat inside their homes, and many of them are hopeful that help will soon be on the way. A welcome sight for power-starved residents.
Yeah, I know they have a tremendous task at hand.
FPL trucks pulling into this neighborhood in Stuart with the goal of getting power going again. For some on the Treasure Coast, that may be tonight, but for others, it could take a little longer. We're told that it may be Sunday before people here in the area have their power restored. Overall, Matthew left more than 1 million customers in Florida without power.
We had a lot of wind and a lot of rain, and it wasn't as bad as half of the rest of them. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be.